Hi guys, thought I'd come and do a video. Not a lot of progress since the last video, but still some. So and I've not really been feeling too great. Kind of the hours are taking its toll now at work, and sort of tired a lot as well. So I've kind of lost my mojo a bit with the cross stitch, but and other bits which I'll explain. But I wanted to do a video, catch up everyone on kind of what's been going on, and stuff like that. So I'll start off with my Heaven and Earth. So the Together We Stand. I'm not very well prepared. I didn't bring my picture, but it's the one, you know, from previous videos on the eagles that I'm doing from a stepdad. And then you'll know from the previous video I sort of had a go at the parking. So I can't remember how much I actually got done last time. It may only have perhaps been a couple of rows. So yeah, I mean, I've not done this probably for 2 or 3 weeks. I definitely prefer the parking. Like, you can see part of, you know, you don't actually notice it. I don't know if anyone else finds this. When you're looking at it yourself, you don't really notice a pattern, or, you know, it doesn't look like you've done much. But when you're actually looking at it on the video, and I suppose at a distance, you know, this bit here, this pattern here sort of comes out a bit more. And I think that's why I'm going to try and stick with the parking now, because you can see a bit more of a pattern. But I've decided I'm not going to work on this one now until the new year, just because I've got I need to finish my Hocus Pocus one from a friend for Christmas, and still the baby's blanket. I have made not bad progress with the baby's blanket. I don't think it's going to be done by the time the baby's here, to be honest, just because of how little stitching I have been getting done. But I mean, but then saying that, you know, if I'm able to finish off Hocus Pocus, which, to be fair, there isn't a whole lot left, really, I'm about halfway through, and then I just concentrate on that one, you know, maybe I might be able to, but no, I'm quite happy. I mean, I'm very fortunate that you can tell how few threads there is with this, that there's not a whole lot of confetti with this at the moment. And then sort of every now and again I try and work, if I realise that a colour's not going into the square next to it, I work my way down a little bit. The only problem that I've noticed with that is that when I've then tried to work my way down, I've gone wrong a couple of times, but nothing that can't be fixed, nothing major. Luckily on this section they're all similar colours, but no, I am pleased with that, and I need to go back and try and like fill in this bit really every now and again. But as I'm not really gonna, I should take this off the, I'll do that now actually, take this off the hoop, so it doesn't get too marked, and say then start again for the new year, along with the Egyptian one that I want to do for my mum. Not got any sort of stash or haul. I never have any stash or haul, although I have had haul. I ordered a load of threads, so I've now I've nearly kitted up the Egyptian lady, which is the freebie Heaven and Earth one, which again I haven't got with me, but and I've got the fabric for it. And that one I want to try and do tent stitch on, and I've had nearly all of the colours, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to tent stitch the first maybe 10 by 10 just to see what it's like, because I do want to try and get it done a bit quicker than, say, like this one's going to take, I don't even want to guess how many years, but you know, you can grow a baby quicker than these. And there's just like one colour that I'm out of, one colour. So and then I've nearly, yeah, and then I did a I got the threads for one of my Santa ones, one of the ones I want to stitch from stash for next year. And I don't know how I done it. I missed out one colour. I don't know. I didn't even write it down in my book because I've been going from my book. I went through all the charts and all the threads that I had and wrote down what colours I needed to order. And I don't know why. I must have blinkers on or something. I just missed that one colour as well. So when I'll have to remember to go to look at that chart when I put my next order in when I get paid, and then finish off the last of the threads for the Egyptian lady, and then at least I know that those two actually are the ones that I want to start. I don't know. I'm sure there's a Christmas stitch along, an all year one. I can't remember. It's starting on the 1st of January as well. And I've got quite a nice gold dimensions Christmas stocking that I'd quite like to start. So I might try and start that one on January the 1st, and then start the Egyptian lady. But then I'm on an early shift. I'm on a 6 AM till 4 PM New Year's Day. Great fun. If I haven't gone on maternity by then. I'm kind of thinking work the Christmas and Boxing Day, get the extra money in, and kind of like maybe just say, nah, I need to call it now. Yeah, because I'm getting tired now. I can cut my hours down. I don't do full night shifts anymore. Before I'd work 10 PM till 6 AM, and I've cut them down now to still same amount of hours, but from 6 PM to 2 AM, because I was struggling to like stay awake when driving home. I'm alright when I'm at work. I'm alright, but I'm also struggling with sleeping at the minute. I've just had like a constant blocked nose throughout this pregnancy, and so when it comes to sleeping, it's just a nightmare. And of course, like then the further along you get, the more uncomfortable it is, and yeah, so it's just not really that fun at the minute. So that's another reason why I've kind of lost my cross-stitchy bug a bit, because of being just so tired. But anyway, so Hocus Pocus. Take this off so you can see it properly. Clouds Factory. It's from my best friend for Christmas. Love it. I just love the Clouds Factory ones. They're just so quick and easy. I've got a few not kitted up but ready that I want to do stitch from stash from next year. I think I've got a Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Lady and the Tramp and Beauty and the Beast. Although, to be honest, I mean, I love Beauty and the Beast, and it's like my favourite Disney film ever. Talking about Disney, I actually just watched Cinderella and Lady and the Tramp. Love it. And but anyway, I'm not loving the Clouds Factory version of it. They look a bit like Weebles, and I don't know. It just Belle don't look quite right in it. So I don't know. I don't want to stitch it just because it's Beauty and the Beast. Like, so I don't know. I don't know whether I'll do that one actually, to be honest. But I do like the Lady and the Tramp one. And there's a couple Little Mermaid ones that I really like. So yeah. But anyway, so this one. So I think when you saw it last, I don't even know if I had all the witches done actually. I may not even have had all the witches done. I think I might have just started her. I don't know their names. But there's, I think once I've finished this, I think there's another 2 or 3 rows of writing, which is all in one colour. So it's only like those 2 rows there, which have got 3 colours in. You can't really tell with that one, but there is like a kind of orange, a pink, and then goes into the red. And this one is sort of like shades of purple. And then all that's left is, there's like a moon bit there. I think there might, oh, there's a star bit there. I think it's like a couple of candlesticks down here. So I'm really loving this again. Like, I'm glad again that I picked the, like, went with the grey fabric, kind of the grey mould effect, because I think with the bright colours they really kind of stand out. So I'm glad I went for that one. And so it doesn't actually take that long to stitch up, so I've got my dinner on at the moment, nice shepherd's pie. So I think once I put that in the oven, I might sit down and have an hour on this or something, and can maybe try and finish off the purple writing tonight. We'll see. I don't start work till 4 tomorrow, so, or 4 PM. So it's a nice easy shift. Not easy because it's till 2 o'clock in the morning, but I haven't got to rush around. And then baby's blanket. So I'll take this off as well. See, I'll just leave everything on the hoop. Just don't care. Just that whatever. I've never had a problem with getting the hoop marks out, so yeah, it's just easy, isn't it? A bit lazy, but again, I don't know where I got up to with this. But I'm up to I just need to do the back stitch on I. Yeah. But again, loving this. It's just nice and easy. I don't know if I said this is one that I want to try and take to work with me, just to get a bit of extra time on it, sort of half hour on a lunch break or something like that. Even if it's just a matter of getting a few rows done. You know, it's still, you know, things like that eye certainly won't take long. You know, I'll probably be able to get most of the eye done in a lunch break. So yeah, so that's that really. Still got loads left, but yeah, no, I'm pleased with it. I'm glad with the way that it's coming along. I'm glad. I like all the different colours in it, and yeah, love it. And that's it really. That's all I've worked on. I ordered the frames for the wedding sampler and my brother's or my nephew's birth sampler. I picked them up the other day, so I'll probably do another video maybe in a few weeks, a couple of weeks, just to show them sort of finished off. I need to wash them and iron them and stuff. And yeah, and then there might be a bit more. Hopefully, I might even finish the I need to really finish the Hocus Pocus one by the end of this month, so that I can order the frame, because it might take a couple of weeks. Well, no, actually, it took about a week, but with my shifts, it took me about 2 weeks to be able to get the time to pick them up. So yeah. So yeah, so that, I mean, in terms of life, in all honesty, it's been a bit shit recently. If anyone saw my Instagram, we had to put our cat to sleep on Monday, so today's Saturday. We had to do that on Monday. There's another reason why I've not got much stitching done. She started sort of limping a few weeks back, which isn't out of the ordinary for her. Whereas before it would only normally last maybe a couple of minutes, if that, and then she wouldn't limp again for months and weeks. And but this time so we assumed it was like, you know, she jump off a fence or something like that, because she climbs over the fences to get to next door and that. But this time the limp never went away. So over the first week she had an x-ray that showed nothing. Then we had to take her back for a CT scan that showed nothing, you know, and that was over by the time we got the results of that said nothing. That had been 2 weeks, and by then she was kind of dragging her back legs and couldn't really walk. She was kind of using her front paws. And then she got referred for a CT scan, which showed she had a lesion on her spinal cord. Sorry. Which turned out to be lymphoma cancer. So kind of like a children's cancer, because she was only 17 months old. So it was you know, she spent a week at the Royal Veterinary College, which is, you know, a really good vets. But bless her, she hated it. She was, you know, she was getting quite aggressive with the vets and the nurses, and she didn't like, you know, she'd had 3 weeks of being poked and prodded and you know, and everything. And so we took her in on, not Sunday just gone, Sunday before, and I think I knew then that we possibly wouldn't be bringing her home, that it was going to be something different. And then they kind of confirmed that it was cancer, and it was a cancer of the blood, so it wasn't as simple as just take the growth away. And because the growth was on her spinal cord as well, you know, if you do the operation, you could do more damage than good. And we went to go and see her on Thursday, last Thursday. She was so happy to see us. It was like, I felt really bad because she was straight away, she couldn't get up, where she, you know, she could sit up, but that was it. She was just in like a little cagey thing. And we were kind of, they lift, you know, took the lid off and that, and we were stroking her and that. But she was so happy. She, you know, straight away she was purring and sort of head rubbing, and then we kind of were talking about chemo and radiotherapy and stuff like that. But I think we'd already made the decision that we wanted to pick her up on Sunday, which we did, and we had Sunday night with her, which was pretty awful. You know, she kind of was a bit incontinent by then, so she would get angry because she'd be weeing, and she'd leave little red puppy pads and stuff, but she'd be weeing everywhere, bless her, and sort of she'd be wet and uncomfortable a bit, and they're probably in a bit of pain, although they gave her like an epidural to do like a spinal block thing. And yeah, and then on Monday we made this, you know, we booked her in for the Monday to unfortunately put her to sleep. And they said, you know, although we could have done the radiotherapy even, you know, it would have added months on, it would have possibly added about 6 to 8 months, and she could have walked again. But you know, they could, you know, with the radiation they could treat the growth from the spinal cord, because the cancer's in the blood, you know, then another growth could pop up somewhere else, and it would mean stressing her out again with weekly visits, you know, for radiation, and then you need chemo, and after that, we weren't covered by insurance because, long story, but it gets classed as pre-existing because she's always kind of had that bit of a limp there, so she wasn't covered. So we had to unfortunately bear that in mind as well. And so, but you know, it just if it had simply been the tumour, and we could have you know, done an operation or something and taken that out, and we could have added years on, you know, great. But because of the type of cancer, you know, I didn't want to then spend 6 to 8 months of her life with constant hospital or like vet trips when she's already so stressed out with them anyway. So we had, but I wanted her last sort of night to be at home, and she loved it, and we had some great like cuddles, and you know, it was but it's very strange without her, especially when like my days off, and then Michael's at work as well, and so because you get into a routine, you know. Michael goes to work, and then she'd be chasing him for food, and then once he goes to work, and then she'll come upstairs, and then we'd have our like morning cuddles, and you know, and she'll go in the garden and that. So you do get into a routine, and it's very weird, you know. And where a little cat tower is, we've put it in the shed, you know, so you know, got that space there, and it's very hard. It's very hard. But yeah, so that's that. So that's kind of why that's been for the last. She was in the vets for say 3 weeks, and then she's been gone a week tomorrow, so it's been 4 weeks of not really sleeping, because I've been worried about the cat, and we were worried about her, and you know, worrying about money, because we knew we could only go to a certain point, you know. So I think that came to about 3,500 in the end, which we now have to try and pay off, you know, which as well as save for the wedding and the baby coming and stuff. So it's been very stressful, very hard 3 to 4 weeks, but yeah, that's it really. That's what's been going on. Today I had my birthing information class, so that was quite interesting actually. That was something good to look forward to. Learned some really sort of interesting stuff actually that perhaps we didn't even, not necessarily didn't realise, but you don't, you know, no one knew. Although, you know, my sister-in-law was pregnant, she was already quite near the end by the time I moved back to Essex. So, you know, she had cesarean, not a normal birth, and they kind of knew that from 36 weeks. So, there's not been anyone around to be able to ask questions, you know, those like horror stories that you need to hear. Not need to hear, but you know, freak you out. So yeah, so that's it really. So 29 weeks pregnant today. Finally sorted out the spare room, which is going to become the nursery. My brother's brought round loads of like a bouncy chair and sterilisers, and my sister-in-law's gave me a load of maternity clothes and that, which is going to save us loads of money, which has really, really helped. I don't think there's too much more we need to buy other than the furniture and baby monitor. You know, they gave us let us use their Moses basket as well, so very lucky actually. We've really lucked out with that. and that is really going to save us quite a bit of money. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. I'm looking forward to baby being here now, but still got, what, 29 weeks, so is it at any point after 40 weeks, I think, is it anywhere between 40 42 weeks baby could be here, so still 11 weeks. It's like nearly 3 months, but yeah, I'm sure it will go quick. I hope it will go quick. I mean, you've got Christmas and New Year to come and everything, so yeah, hopefully it will go quick. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there because I'm pretty sure my potatoes are probably going to be done now for me to mash for my shepherd's pie. I'm going to try and upload this video. Might get it uploaded tonight, don't know. It's already 7:10. Takes about 10 hours to upload. I swear, God, it feels like it anyway. And then I'm just going to chill out and I think do some cross stitch. Done some housework. Well, the house is still a mess. It got to that point where you actually don't know where to start. So much washing has built up where over the last few weeks and like my days off, I had Monday to Thursday off, but because what happened on Monday, we're having to put the cat to sleep, those days off were pretty much just gone with me staring at the sofa and crying. So it was pretty pathetic really for like those days off. I didn't really eat properly or anything, just couldn't be bothered to do anything. So yeah, so there's quite a bit to catch up on. I have been watching though, which I don't know if anyone has. We've got it on Sky box sets, but I don't know if it may be on Netflix or something. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Love it. I'm so in love with that program right now. And yeah, so season 3 I'm on. Season 4 is being aired, I think, out in the US at the minute. So I don't know when it's going to come over here. And then I'm going to then try and start something. Well, not start something. I did start watching Suits, which I loved also. And we got up to about season 4 with that, and then we just got a bit bored with it. But I think I'm going to then re-pick up that and watch that on my days off. And that's my plan, is, get into the box sets and cross stitch just to help save money so I'm not out spending. So I'll say see you later. So next time I'll have some FFOs. This might actually be my first. Could be my first actual FFOs actually, because I don't think my Naruto one, which I finished way back when, back in like August, maybe before that, actually maybe back in like March. I think I'm pretty sure I framed it and I didn't, and gave it to the girl before showing it on here. So these might be the first ones. So you have to let me know what you think of the frames and stuff. So yeah, so I'll say see you later. I hope you all have next good few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. My next video will probably be not long before Christmas, a couple of weeks before Christmas, maybe, if I leave it about 4 weeks. Which is a bit scary, isn't it? I think 6 weeks today will be Christmas Eve. Oh my God. I do love Christmas, so I have got that to look forward to. So yeah, so I'll say see you later. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm sorry if I haven't answered any questions that have been in that you put in the previous video. I will try and go through them and answer any questions. And I appreciate. I put a question on the Heaven and Earth group on Facebook about asking if they knew of a grey tabby cross stitch pattern. on Heaven and Earth, and I had some, you know, and I explained why. And I had some really great responses. So if there's anyone on that group that kind of that watches these and perhaps had responded, then I really appreciate it. I really got a lot of support, and there was a lot of love and a lot of support when, you know, I put that question on there and explained why, and it was very much appreciated. So thank you. Thank you for everyone subscribing, and I'm still getting new subscribers, which is really good. Yeah, just thank you to everyone, really. Thank you for watching, and any other questions or anything, just pop them in, and I'll promise I'll try and answer them. So thank you, bye.